Welcome back to the deep dive. We've got that stack of sources you sent over, articles, data, all that good stuff, and we're here to pull out the really useful insights for you. Today, we're diving into something super relevant for anyone polishing their professional image, the headshot. Specifically, how AI is, well, completely changing the game for job seekers. So our mission today, it's really important if you're looking for work or just building your online profile. We need to get a handle on how AI is making professional photos way more accessible. But critically, we also need to unpack that whole debate around authenticity, trust in the hiring process when AI is involved. It's a bit thorny.
It really is. And, it's a conversation we need to have because think about it. Getting a good headshot traditionally, it was kind of a pain. There was this huge barrier. It wasn't just the money, though. That was part of it. It was the time, the logistics. It immediately put some people at a disadvantage. Like if you were between jobs, watching your budget, or maybe just starting out, it wasn't easy.
Yeah, I think people forget just how much hassle was involved. It wasn't just the price tag, right? It was the whole ordeal. What did the sources say about the actual cost and time involved back then?
Well, if you wanted something studio quality, you were looking at $200 minimum. Easily. That was just the starting point. And often, for the full package digital files, maybe some retouching, different outfits, you'd easily be paying over $300.
Wow, okay.
But honestly, the time commitment, that might have been an even bigger hurdle for many. We're talking like 3 or 4 hours total. Scheduling it, traveling there, the actual shoot, posing, that's a big chunk of time, especially when you're busy trying to find a job.
3 to 4 hours. Yeah, that's a serious investment just to get your picture looking right online, a real barrier. So, okay, let's talk about this AI game changer then. How does it flip that script? These AI headshot generators, they seem to be totally shifting who gets to look polished and professional. Suddenly you've got job seekers creating these, well, studio quality images basically from their couch, right? Just using their phone.
Exactly. It completely bypasses that whole traditional studio setup. And what's really striking is the cost difference. It's pretty dramatic. Where you used to spend hundreds, now AI options, they range from basically free, if you're using credits on something like Canva, up to maybe, $30 to $130 for the more premium packages.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's like maybe 10, 20% of the old cost. It just instantly opens the door for so many people who probably felt priced out before.
That accessibility really is the key, isn't it? And for anyone listening who's thinking, oh, this sounds complicated, the sources suggest it's actually pretty simple.
Oh, yeah. It's built for convenience.
Yeah.
Super straightforward.
Okay, walk us through it. What are the steps? Looks like there are about 4 main ones.
Right. So step 1 is basically the upload. You just need to give the AI some photos of yourself to work with, usually around 5 to 10 pictures. The key is decent lighting. Try for a neutral expression. Make sure your face is clear. Good input equals good output, basically.
Makes sense. Okay, then the AI magic happens. Step 2?
Yep. Step 2 is the AI analysis. This is where the clever stuff happens. These advanced algorithms look at your photos, analyze your facial features, your bone structure, even things like the lighting in your original pics and your typical expressions. It builds this detailed digital model of you.
Okay, building a model, then what? Step 3 seems to be where you get some control.
Exactly. Step 3 is customization. This is where you tell the AI what you want. You pick backgrounds, maybe an office setting, a plain studio look, even outdoors. You choose professional outfits. You can make little tweaks to tailor it to the job you want. Applying for a finance job? Go for a suit. Tech startup? Maybe more business casual.
Right, tailoring it is smart.
Yep.
And then the final step, the payoff.
Step 4. Receive your headshots. Pretty quickly, too. Sometimes in just 30 minutes, maybe a few hours for the bigger packages. You get dozens of polished, professional-looking headshots, ready to go straight onto LinkedIn, your resume, whatever you need. The speed's kind of wild.
Wow, dozens of options in minutes or hours. Okay, so the process is easy. But which tools are actually, good? We need some names. What did these sources mention as the top contenders? Especially looking at quality and price.
Yeah, there were definitely a few standouts mentioned. BetterPic, for example, starts around $35. They give you over 100 AI images, but, and this is interesting, they include a human review step for quality control.
Oh, okay, a human touch.
Yeah, and the sources rated their realism pretty high, like 4.7 out of 5. So they seem to be tackling that does it look fake concern head on. Then there's HeadshotPro. Their plans start from about $29. They offer, I think, 40-plus headshots. Their focus seems to be on fast turnaround and industry-specific styling. So if you need a very specific look for your field, they might be a good fit.
Right, styling options. And what about the budget end? You mentioned Canva.
Yep, Canva. You might already have free credits, or it's very low cost. It's great for instant results. Perfect if you just need a quick update or maybe a picture for a platform you just joined. Super accessible.
Gotcha. Any others that stood out, maybe for different reasons?
One more worth mentioning, especially regarding privacy, is Aragon AI. Also starts around $35, gives you up to 100 images. But their big thing is data security. Enterprise-grade stuff. And they automatically delete your uploaded photos afterwards.
That's important. People worry about where their photos end up.
Definitely. So that's a key feature for anyone concerned about their biometric data floating around online.
Okay, so BetterPic, HeadshotPro, Canva, Aragon AI. Quite a few solid options there. Looking at all that, it's really no surprise job seekers are jumping on this tech. If we boil down the pros, the reasons why this is so appealing right now, what are the big ones? Seems like 4 main advantages.
Yeah, definitely. First, the obvious one. It's way more cost effective. You're saving potentially hundreds compared to a studio.
Huge savings.
Second, time saving. Massively so. No travel, no scheduling hassles, just quick results.
Right.
Third, the variety. You get tons of different looks, styles, backgrounds. You can match them to different job applications or industries. And fourth, that flexibility. Need to update your look seasonally, or just want a quick refresh. You could do it easily without a whole new photo shoot booking.
Yeah, that convenience and low cost are just undeniable. It really does feel like it's democratizing that professional look. But, okay, here's the flip side. We have to look at the potential downsides, right? If everyone suddenly has these perfect-looking headshots, does that kind of reset expectations? Where do the sources say this convenience might start to cause problems?
That's exactly the tension, yeah. You save time and money, but the potential trade-off is trust. We're already hearing from professional photographers about this uncanny valley thing.
Right, where it looks too perfect.
Exactly. Too polished, maybe a bit artificial. And the worry is that experienced recruiters, the savvy ones, might start spotting these AI-generated images.
Okay, and if a recruiter thinks it's AI, what's the worry then? What's the actual concern?
Well, the number one risk seems to be the trust factor, straight up. Recruiters might start questioning a candidate's honesty. Like, if the picture isn't quite real, what else isn't?
Oof, okay.
And tied into that is the idea that AI images sometimes lack warmth, that little spark of genuine personality you get from a real photo, the small imperfections. If it's too perfect, does it hide the real person?
Yeah, I can see that. Personality is hard to fake.
And there's another layer, too, which is important. Algorithmic bias. Any AI system trained on existing photos, well, it risks learning and maybe even amplifying existing biases, like certain beauty standards or demographic skews. That's something users need to be aware of.
That's a really critical point. So what's the vibe from employers right now? Are they suspicious? We saw that quote from Sam DeMase at ZipRecruiter.
Yeah, that quote really stood out in the sources. She basically said, it is perceived as risky to use an AI headshot.
Risky? Wow.
Yeah. That skepticism is real, at least for now. It might fade as people get used to the tech, but today, it's definitely a factor recruiters are considering.
Okay, so this leaves job seekers in a bit of a bind, doesn't it? Massive convenience versus this potential trust issue. For you listening, it sounds like the decision isn't just AI or studio. It needs to be more strategic than that.
Absolutely. It's not binary. It's about when to use AI and when maybe the traditional route is still better. We need a kind of roadmap for making that choice.
Okay, let's make this practical, like a checklist for the listener. Based on everything we've discussed, when is using AI the smart move?
Right. When should you hit generate? Well, first off, if your budget is really tight or you're currently between jobs, AI is probably your go-to. It solves the immediate cost problem. Also, use it if you need quick updates for lots of different platforms like LinkedIn, maybe a personal website, conference profiles, or if you're testing different looks. Maybe you want to see if a more formal picture works better than a casual one for certain industries. AI lets you experiment easily. And importantly, consider it if you're applying for entry-level roles or at companies that are very tech-forward. They might actually appreciate the efficiency or at least be familiar with the tech.
Okay, that makes sense. High volume, low friction situations, testing things out. So conversely, when should you really make the investment in proper studio photos? When is that still necessary?
You should definitely lean towards investing in studio photos when the stakes are higher. Think executive roles, leadership positions, places where tradition, gravitas, that sort of thing still matters a lot.
High stakes jobs.
Also, if you're building a long-term personal brand, Like if you're a consultant, a coach, a speaker,
Hmm.
that authenticity is key. And definitely in more conservative industries, law, finance, accounting. They often still value that traditional, polished, human-shot photograph. The cost itself can sometimes signal seriousness.
And I guess if you need photos for actual press or speaking gigs, the real deal is probably still expected, right?
Oh, absolutely. For media kits, author photos, things like that, studio quality is pretty much the standard,
Yeah.
which, leads us to maybe a pro tip here, kind of a hybrid strategy.
Right.
Use the AI headshots for the wide net, initial applications, mass outreach, quick profile updates, get your foot in the door efficiently. But then, if you land a really important interview or get shortlisted for a major opportunity, then consider investing in those professional studio shots. It adds that extra layer of polish and perceived authenticity right when it counts the most.
Ah, that's smart. Use AI for scale, then invest strategically. I like that. So wrapping this up, this deep dive really shows the shift is real. AI is leveling the playing field. It's making sure that looking professional isn't just for those who can afford the expensive photographer. It's a huge change for job seekers.
It is a massive change. And the key takeaway for you, the listener, right now is strategy. It's not just about saving money. You need to think about quality. Think about authenticity for your specific situation. Choose the right tool for the job. Put your best, most genuine self forward. And, thinking about the bigger picture, looking towards tomorrow, the sources hint that this stigma around AI photos, it's probably going to fade. As recruiters just get more used to seeing them, it'll become normalized. But that raises a really interesting question.
Riches.
Well, if everyone starts having perfect headshots, how will recruiters actually evaluate them? What becomes the new standard? If the basic polished look is easy for anyone to get, what subtle cues will they start looking for to gauge real talent, personality, authenticity? How do you measure that in an AI world? What might those new evaluation standards even look like? This is definitely something fascinating for you to think about on your own.
That is a great question to leave things on. What happens next? Fantastic. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.